good evening, one and all, and thank you for joining me this evening. Nice to have you along. Do you know what I mean? I'm in this like vest top, like a string vest sort of vest top tonight because it's so hot. You know what I mean? Yeah. So good evening, one and all. Thank you for joining me. Before I start the show, you know what to do, don't you? You know what to do. You know to like and subscribe. Okay, like and subscribe. Also, hit me up with the comment section, okay? Get involved with the show. Any questions you want to ask me and 12 man for the time being, I'm sure there'll be more joining. But any questions you want to ask, please don't hesitate to ask. Excuse me, ask the questions, and we will answer them, okay? But obviously, be respectful to each other in the chat, okay? Be respectful to each other in the chat, okay? Hit that notification button and you'll be notified when I go live. Also, so without no further ado, I'm gonna bring my esteemed guest. Do you know what I mean? Stateside, you know how it is. I call him Stateside Red. I should call him Stateside Red. You know what I mean? The one and only Liverpool 12th man in the building. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How are you? How are you?
Not too bad. Wow, you got another background. It looks good, boy.
Yeah.
What up, boy? That's good, man. I like it. I really like it. Oh, good. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Touch the side, man. Touch that side, G. So, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Good. Anticipating an Anfield revival, I guess you could say, in the sense of bringing home this W to go into the international break the right way.
Mm, yeah,
Watched a
yeah,
bunch of good games today. Actually, a lot of goal scoring. At least if you're into like goal scoring, a lot of good games
yeah,
today to
yeah.
watch.
I I see sort of like what's it call it? Tottenham. They won 5-1, didn't they? They
Yeah,
battered that team. Really battered them. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? From pillar to post. Do you know what I mean? But yeah,
yeah.
it's
My
been
boy
it's been a good day.
Sonny got a hat trick.
Yeah, yeah. And then you got Evan Ferguson got a hat trick for Brighton today as well.
Sorry, what
You
you
know what I
say?
mean?
I'm looking
Huh?
at. I just saw something pop up. I think the chat knows that I keep an eye on the chat because I'm a man of the people, voice of the believers. So I keep my
yeah,
eye on the chat. I saw something. I'm sorry.
yeah.
We all love
So
a little Sade, definitely.
yes, Evan Evan Ferguson got a hat trick, and also this result today from Ravi says Chelsea are rich, getting robbed by their old backyard
Yeah.
to pay the poor by Robin Hood FC. He said that earlier on in my chat when I had my show earlier on. Oh man, I had a chuckle. I had a chuckle. It was really
Mm.
fitting. I love Ravi. Ravi's cool. Uh, big up. That's come from Ravi. A big up to you, Ravi. Mario's in the building as well. Big up, man. Said big up, Uncle Rodz and Ravi. Bajan Barnes is in the building as well. Make sure you go over and like and subscribe to Bajan
Yeah.
Reds TV. Yeah,
They just had a
go slap a like.
great. They just had a great episode, great preview of the game for the game tomorrow. I think it's Rasta Crab's birthday too, I believe. So happy birthday to Rasta Crab
What
for
today?
El.
Today.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's his birthday.
Oh, big up Rastacam, man. Big up
Yeah,
Rastacam. Big up Rastacam, man. And many happy returns. You know what I mean? Big up to you
yeah,
and your
yeah.
Earth Strong, man. You know what I mean? May you live to see many and many and many more. Big up Rastacam each and every time. But make sure you go over and subscribe, like and subscribe to Bajan Reds TV, where you have people like Bajan Barnes, Rasta Crab,
Yeah.
and Bajan Pop. So listen, the whole
And
gang's over there.
Bejan Angel too. Bejan Angel has
Oh
been
yeah, see, part of the gang still, yeah, Bajan Angel. You know what I mean? I call him my Pablito. You know what I mean? Pablito. Marion, yo, that's coming from Ravi. We got Ravi each and every time. Beijing Reds, he's bigging up Beijing Reds. Marion says, Beijing Reds TV, big up. Bless you. There's a lot of love in this community. Can I get was it? Can I get the Chelsea for Chelsea?
Chelsea.
Oh, you sound like a cockney there, pal.
Yeah.
You sound like a cockney there. Oh, this is lovely. I'm just loving. I'm loving this. Chelsea. Oh, I can't stop laughing. The team that just keeps on giving, keeps giving, but now in a way they want not what they wanted. Yeah, facts, man. Sounds alright, man. Sounds alright. And I'm gonna talk about. We'll talk about them in a minute. I'm just gonna go through some of these chats. Chelsea fan now singing. I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson.
Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh. That's harsh.
Oh shit! Did you see the goal that he missed today? Did you see it?
Yeah.
It was an open goal, man. So, no, there is no excuse for that. Because you know what? You know what? Yeah, this. You may say it's harsh, right? But just imagine if that was Darwin Núñez, and Darwin Núñez had done what he done today, and from that, right, he would have got slated from pillar to post. We would have got slated. They would have called him Darwin Punes. They would have called him Darwin Noodles. They've done everything. They would have done everything. It's funny though. It's funny. Somebody's not a striker. We got the challenge.
Some Chelsea heads in the chat too. Big up.
All right, I'll get to them. Jaminio, big up to you, Jaminio. He says big up the panel and chat. Big up to you. I don't know if you have subbed to my channel yet, but please, if you haven't subbed to my channel, hit the sub. Yeah, hit the sub button and also hit the like button, please, before you go. Okay, we've got here, bless up Rods, 12 man and chat. Jaminio again.
As always, but the chat is especially on fire today.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I'm loving it. I'm here for it. 7 2 repeat incoming tomorrow. That's what they think they're gonna do. You know, that's what they're gonna think they do to us. They think they're gonna be at 7-2. Not on your life, son. 12 man, big up, my brother. That's coming from Beijing Reds. A lot of love there, man. Big up. Big up Liverpool. 12th man. Are you from Philadelphia?
I'm from the Philadelphia area. Yeah, I represent Philadelphia. I'm from South Jersey.
Oh, is that? So, from where you are, isn't it? It's in the Philadelphia area.
I'm from South Jersey, and like Philadelphia is like 5 minutes outside of where I live. So,
okay.
In where I grew up, I should say. I live in Arizona. I live on the west side now, but in Arizona.
Yeah, you live Midwest, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, my roots are East Coast.
Okay. Wu-Tang Clan.
Yes.
Oh, that was a yo in the 90s, man. They were popping off in the 90s, man.
Absolutely.
Raekwon and all that, man. There. ODP. Yeah, man.
ODB.
Yeah, he was wicked.
I was just on a deadline show, and one of one of our co-hosts, Raphael, was wearing an ODB shirt, and I was like, all right, this it was my first time meeting him, and I was like, this guy's a real one. I knew.
Yeah, he's a real
ODB.
Yeah, he's a real one. Yeah, he is. Funny, yeah, he is. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Newcastle got circumcised. Ross, 12 man, he's doing up as just smooth operator. Sade, smooth operator for the girl them sugar.
Girl them sugar. Yes, man.
Yeah, we think You think you don't know about you? Murray is on. He's in
Mhm.
Arizona, if not a mistake. Yeah, he's in Arizona. But your roots are from obviously East
Yeah,
West Jersey, or Jersey. Yeah, so
South Jersey, South Jersey.
Ravi, South Jersey. Tudor. I want to get to the show in a minute. It's just a chat. It's just so good. Thanks, Raging Reds TV. That's come from Marion. Bayesian. Then Marion says again. Tudor, big up. You know what I mean? Psychedelic says, "Do you think City will fall off this season, or will they win the Prem again?" We'll get. I'm actually going to start that. Yeah, I'm going to start that. Let me just start that still. Okay. I suppose on a roll, cinema, cinema roll. Stop that. Right. So let's start with Chelsea. Let's start with Chelsea. I think that's the most appropriate place to start for. But Chelsea have estimated, right, in the last four windows, you might as well say. Yeah, last four windows, Chelsea have spent a billion. Chelsea has spent a
Close to a
billion
billion.
on their yes, yeah, spent a billion on their I think it might be a billion now, you know. I mean, because this just like
It depends on
if
what currency you use. If you're using like euros or pounds, or if you're using dollars, you know, I guess it depends on how you
if
look
it's
at it.
dollars, if it's dollars, it's a billion. Do you reckon?
It's up there. I know that.
Yeah. So let's say close to a billion. Let's say close to a billion they have spent to their squad. I'm not sure of the
Mhm.
exact figure, but it's close to a billion they spent on their squad in the last four windows. Yeah. Now, personally, I personally don't know how they got to do that in the first place. You know what I mean? It's like FFP don't exist for them. Do you know what I mean? They seem to be able to bend the rules. Anyway, so they've done that and got a new manager in Pochettino, and they've got 4 points for four games.
Mhm.
They literally got a footballing lesson today. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? You're right. By Nottingham Forest, as well. Me and Ravi calls them Robin Hood FC. Robbed them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Where are they going? 12 man. Where are they going?
That's a really good question, because if right now, look, I rate Poch as a coach. I think he's capable of building players. I think he's capable of bringing out good game plans and orchestrating them. I also think he's capable of connecting with players. But I also know that Chelsea's was in a weird position or weird place in that, this is again why I think that people that are always on some disposable coach merry-go-round don't understand it's not as easy as just replacing a coach. And with Chelsea, for me, it was always, you now have to bring in a coach that you're going to be able to build his vision and his direction of the club and what he wants to utilize for the direction of the team. And I think that it's been a lot of the owner getting involved. I always think that the owner gets involved by just looking at Twitter, and whoever's trending is the person that they go for. I think it's also like you can win, quote unquote, the transfer window as if that's silverware or a championship or something. But realistically speaking, you still got to bring in the right players as opposed to just world class or great players or anything like that. You have to bring in the right players that fit the system, that fit the group, that are going to be able to contribute. And I don't know if they have that continuity just yet. I mean, as in, there's a bunch of great, promising stars, good stars, great stars, but it's not necessarily a collective that you could say is a gelled unit, is something of a group that really looks like they're willing to fight for each other. They're willing to commit to a shared goal, and that's the difference between, for instance, the club that we all support, or most of us support here, and a Chelsea, for instance, in my opinion.
Yeah, because you see what it is today. To me, it looks like sort of like right. I think we touched on the other day. Any player that's trending at the time, they want to buy. I mean, they went out and bought so like that guy. Is it Carlton Palmer or Cole Palmer, something like that, from Man City? You know what I mean? Right, he's a young
Yeah,
kid, just come on the scene. Yeah, he's played a minimum of 2 games. I don't think he hasn't even played a Premiership game yet. He played 2 games. He played in the Charity Shield and he scored in the Charity Shield, and he played in the what's it call it in the Super Cup. That's it. He played in the Super Cup, and Chelsea
mhm.
went and bought him, gone out and bought him already for 45 million. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like it seems to me any player that's trending, you actually think, well, yeah, right, good, we'll get him, put him on the team. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you
Mhm.
Poch, you deal with it, but it doesn't work like that. Do you know what I mean? You know, like
Mhm.
even Carl Sader today another stinker today. Yeah, yeah, another stinker. And in the chat earlier on, they're saying that that we dodged a bullet on that. I don't necessarily think we did. I feel at the day, if Carl Sader was with Liverpool, he'd be much better than what he is now. I'm telling you, he'd be much better than what he is now. Do you know what I mean? Because what would happen today is that Klopp wouldn't put him in the team, like in a game. Klopp wouldn't put him in a game unless he knows he's ready.
Mhm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Unless he knows he's ready at the end of the day to sort of like, to for the fight. The only reason that day we put Endo in, like obviously, on the bench and into the game, like for a cameo role. The only reason we've done that is because of the days like we didn't have a DM. We didn't have DM, so we had to. But
Mhm.
the things that they've got abundance of players and that, right? They could
Mhm.
afford at the day not to put Castledo in there. Do you know what I mean? You put him on today, he's having another stinker, and you had to take him off. You put him up against Luton, he had a stinker. You put him up against West Ham, he had a stinker. Now these are all these players at the day, right? That Chelsea have fought for. Do you know what I mean? And tried all these subversive moves just to get. Do you know what I mean? And unless I say to these guys, these fans, you haven't got a balanced system. You haven't got a balanced system, and there's no
Mhm.
sort of like structure. There's no structure to your team because you're just
Right.
putting in players in there. You know what I mean? Now I'm saying that day. How long do you reckon that day they're going to give Pochettino?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't. I mean, like the track record isn't good because Bowley does act like Roman when it comes to coaches. Obviously we've seen him go from Frank, Super Frank to Tuchel, I think, and trying to get all the so many different coaches, and then to Potter, I think it was, then back to Super Frank, and now to Poch. I mean, that's like 4 or 5 different, transfers and changeovers for coach. And that's why I'm trying to get across is that like you can't. That's a very difficult bar to do when you're trying to establish some type of consistency, some type of direction. When you've had so many different stopgap coaches, or so many different visions, or so many different voices in the room that are going to direct the players and everything else. And now that you have a good coach, like I said, a really good coach, you now have a place where okay, now you have a good coach, but now you have players that have to grow and meld together. It's not an easy process. Um, I I think that hey, good luck to him. Good luck to you,
I
but I just
think
don't
I
success.
think at the end of the day they should have just took their time anyway. They're too rush, too greedy, and thinking it's going to work. And I think that I mean, NS has got sort of like NS Sports, a Chelsea supporter, saying we're having humor at their expense, but it's going to be short lived. It's
Right.
always bound to happen. But it was always bound to happen. Not being funny. I've no banter, nothing. I know it's banter, but it was always sort of like going to happen. If you bring in so many players at the day, right, and
Mhm.
literally at the day, sort of like and try some like underhanded moves at the day to get players at the day that kind of like were sort of like supposed to come to other teams, and it doesn't work out. What do you expect people going to do? People are going to laugh at you. They are going to laugh. It's just the way it goes.
They're all gonna laugh at
Psychedelic.
you. They're all gonna
Huh?
laugh at you. That's I'll just
They
think of
laugh
this.
at you.
They're all gonna laugh
Laugh.
at you. They're all gonna laugh at you. I just think of that.
So here's the first question of the night from psychedelic. Do you think City will fall off this season, or will they win the Prem again? I'll put that question to you first, 12th man. What do you think?
Yeah. Me and Trudon actually are going back and forth about this too. And he's got a good point too. He's saying that 12th man thing is City are notoriously slow starters, yet have 12 points. This may be the first time they've won all 4 opening games. I'd have to look into that, but you're right. I understand that they are notoriously slow starters. They also normally don't take on many preseason matches and everything else, so that but they've come in definitely being able to hit the ground running this year. I think though what you're going to see with City is that Pep is getting surgery done. Back surgery is going to be that's not going to be fun for him. He's going to have to grind it out, and he's going to be out for a couple of games. But I know he's going to have to necessarily be in all hyped up on probably pain pills or something to get through some of the games. Considering he's either going to have a back surgery and then think you're going to stand and walk around the sidelines for 90 minutes. That's really, really optimistic thinking. So he's going to be in a miserable state of mind. But also KDB, people, I know that we've seen them get by without KDB currently, but I think in the long run, it's still a very big question mark if they can maintain that type of momentum and that type of actual level of consistency with this team. And that's another big question. So do I think that City won't be a contender? Absolutely not. They're going to absolutely be a contender. They're going to, I don't think they're going to run away with the league, but I think if there's any time to really focus on them, I think it'll be rounding out November, going into December when we get into those derby matches and everything else. When we start to get closer to Christmas, especially, that's when you're going to see what City has to offer. When it comes to pulling it together, and whether they're going to be able to either have a gap between first and second, or if someone like our club or possibly another club, but most likely, hopefully, our club will be able to create some type of separation and allow for them to see if they can chase down us as opposed to us have to chase down them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. We just I'm gonna speak for Liverpool here. We just got to take our chances when we can. You know what I mean? To get in front of Man City. I think the only team and they capable of giving Man City a run for their money at the end of the day is Liverpool. Because you look at last season, yeah. Last season, and we had a bad season. Everybody can see that. But it's left up to Arsenal.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? To run them down. You know what I mean? And possibly take them over and possibly win the title. Do you know what I mean? So it's left up to them to give them a fight. You're 8 points ahead. Do you know what I mean? And I can say this, categorically say this: if Liverpool are 8 points ahead of Man City, we are not losing the league. I'm telling you, we are not losing the league. Yeah, all right. And you shouldn't really being 8 points ahead at that time. There, do you know what I mean? they were not Liverpool, Arsenal was ahead of for a big chunk of the season. Imagine that. For a big chunk of the season, they were ahead. You know what I mean? They sort of like were leading. Do you know what I mean? To get pegged back, and you know what I mean, and that it's unacceptable. So I reckon the only team and they capable of like running Man City down to the wire is Liverpool, which we've done it twice. Do you know what I mean? So
Right.
us as Liverpool, at the end of the day, when we see chances at the end of the day that we can sort of like capitalize and possibly get in front of Man City, we have to take them. We have to take them. Do you know what I mean? If not,
Mm-hmm.
well then they will more likely go on and win the title again. Do you know what I mean? But it's going to be a situation at days like we got to take our opportunities. And so far, do you know what I mean? We've done well. You know what I mean? I mean that game at the day with Chelsea and day that that was a game. If we had a DM, I reckon we win that game. I honestly feel that we win that game. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
no, we didn't lose. We didn't win. We didn't lose, which is good. Do you know what I mean?
We lost on a defensive midfielder, scoring off his shin off of a corner kick that was being trying to be cleared and then was pressed back in off of like another header. It's one of those things where it's just like, if you look at the goals that have really been scored on us, it's been from, unfortunately, Trent's been a part of, I think, the majority of them, but still the same.
Yeah.
It has been some real mistakes, just mental focus mistakes that you don't expect those to happen. You don't anticipate those to happen. But if it was something where you could say, oh, it's because we've just been getting worked, or it's just more so we just got outplayed from start to finish, I can understand those concepts. However, it's not that case. The goals that we're letting in aren't from that. So far, we've let in the goal against Newcastle because of Trent's mess up, or mental little mistake there. And whether it was in, or at least that was for Newcastle, whether again it was for Chelsea, it was because of again some crazy off the shin goal that they got off of pressure from a set piece. Those things are bad to let happen. But I mean, to think that those are going to be consistently the things that set you apart from winning, I don't think that's going to happen. That's just unfortunate luck.
Yeah. It's basic, and it's basically what we can agree on, that sort of Liverpool need to be switched on all the time. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And B, and they sort of when opportunities and they to be taken and they to get the numerical advantage of Man City, we have to take them. If we don't do those
Yes.
two key components, you know what I mean? If we don't do those two key components in there, right? Then the title will more or less go back to Man City again. This question from Ravi. Ravi says, question: how did Beatles' "Money Can't Buy Me Love" become Chelsea's new anthem?
That's funny.
Oh God! Do me a favor today. Can you read out some of the comments at the day from here, from this one, Ravi's downwards, and for that, I'll be about a couple of minutes, and I'll be back. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see where you're at. Let me find it. Let me just find where you guys are at with that Robbie comment. I think it's kind of high up. All right. Let's see. Okay, I see. All right, so let's go. Psychedelic Shaolin says Chelsea are just salty. They spent $1 billion to lose at home to Forest. It's not looking good. Marion Southward says Psychedelic Shaolin, big up for sure. Psychedelic Shaolin says big up to Marion as well. Both of you, always much love to both of you. Redbird D9 says see a lot of good Earthlings in the chat. That's right. That's one thing I can agree on for sure. Psychedelic Shaolin says Star win hat trick tomorrow. Hey, if he gets the start, that'd be great. That would be absolutely great. But you know what? And I'd like to know how the chat's feeling about this. If he does get the start, okay, and he doesn't score, or he doesn't do as well, or he misses one or two, do you think that that's going to be more detrimental to his process and progress, or is that going to be the opportunity, the window of opportunity for people to jump on, him and say, hey, he's told you he's not ready, or told you he's this and told you he's that? I had I remember recently I saw, speaking of Chelsea, I had I was responding to, I think Have Hope is his name, and he was going on about, he made a little quick clip to say about how he was going to apologize. He was trying to apologize to Darwin, and it was a half-hearted at best apology. Let me say that right now. And that's why if you do ever see the clip, you'll actually see my comment going in. I actually, like, paragraph style, going in on his nonsense and misinformation. But it was one of those things where, a lot of people are really, really interested to see how D9 is going to do. And I think it's one of those things where it just depends on how Villa lines up. And I just happen to think that if Villa lines up the way that they've been lining up, I'd include Darwin in that starting lineup. But if they come out and they try to sit back a little bit more and focus on the counter press, which is what they did last year against us, and try to be reactionary, as in be pro-actionary, it's a different story. And I guess we'll see. Ravi has a question for us both. I guess I'll have to wait for that one because I'll wait for him to come back. Marion's getting a shout out to Redbird D9. Yes, my little Scouse brother is in the building for sure. Let's see what else. Trudon, I saw Wu-Tang and Nas in June at the O2 that they killed it. Oh yeah, that's quality right there. Definitely quality. Nas is amazing. Wu-Tang, enough said right there too. Amazing. I hear the Midwest is young and restless. Yeah, it is for sure. Let's see. Bejan Rez TV. Shimmy, shimmy, ya, shimmy, 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 ya, shimmy, yam, shimmy, yay. Chelsea thought they were good, but got slapped away. I never knew Bejan Rez TV. He's got little lyrics in him. He's got some spit.
Oh, no, we did.
Doing a little Wu-Tang shout. There's a question above. I couldn't start it.
Sorry to cut to you. Mine's going to cut across. That shimmy shimmy y'all shimmy shimmy, ain't that from ODB, innit? That's ODB. Oh baby, I like it raw. Oh baby, I like it raw. Hey, that shit was bad back in the days when I care.
That was fire. Yeah, definitely fire. I mean, RZA was putting out some hot beats and giving them to every pretty much every and any Wu-Tang member. Definitely. Yeah, there's a question from Ravi. It says, a question for both. As much as we talk about Klopp doing this or not doing that, question for both. As much as we talk about Klopp doing this or not doing this, did Pep Linders have a say this transfer window? I think absolutely he did. I think that it's pretty obvious that he has some relation to some of the direction that this team is going in. It's the reason why I get that people like to just go at Pep Linders. I think that I get when they also say about, he had a stint of being a head coach. He failed at that, or didn't do well at that, or failed, however you want to look at it. And, and they give him a lot of stick. But I really think that respect is respect due. And if you look at this, the whole quad team, quote unquote, was a lot of his influence in the team and the team direction, team makeup, and everything else. You look at this team, I mean, the inclusion of of Hackbo, the inclusion of now Gravenberch, noticeably Dutch players, noticeably this total football concept that I try to empower my Mighty Reds with that little bit nugget of knowledge, so that you can take on people that are stuck in their archaic ways. Look, those things are important things to recognize. Yes, he might not be everyone's cup of tea, but for right now, he does have a very big hand and a very big influence in what goes on with this club. So I give him where credit's due, and I think that Pep has been doing an exceptional job in bringing some really good talent, or being the voice in campaigning for some very good talent to be included in this club.
No, I second that emotion. I second that because well, listen, the two Dutch players that well, let's talk about the first Dutch player that's been was brought in, Cody Gakpo, and I
Mhm.
strongly think and that was his influence, and he hasn't done too bad. He's done very well. If
Very
you, I
well.
mean, if you got to think about it, he has done very well. I think he had influence over Darwin Nunes, obviously from his time at the day in Portuguese football. Because a lot of people, what a lot of people don't really know at the end of the day is that Pep Linda speaks Spanish and Portuguese. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? From his
Yes.
time at the day at FC Porto, he was in the setup with there. Do you know what I mean? So he's no mug. You know what I mean? He's no mug. The only thing that I was upset with him about was like, obviously with his book pointing out the tactics and so forth. You know what I mean? And that's obviously for another show. But that's the only thing I can criticize him over. But when you look at like what he's done for the team, do you know what I mean? He's
Mhm.
done some awesome things. Do you know what I mean? As you
Mhm.
said, and they sort of like in that the quad sort of like season that we had. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
He was heavily influential in that. Do you know what I mean? Putting in his ideas and all these different stuff. Do you know what I mean that he was doing? Do you know what I mean? So you have to give. As I said, I always say this. Listen, you can criticize someone when they're worth the criticism. Yeah,
Right.
but when they're worth the praise, you have to give them praise. You
Right.
cannot. You cannot be solely just criticizing. Do you know what I mean? Even when they do things right. Do you know what I mean? So
Right.
you have to give Peplin his respect that's due to him. You have to do that because at the end of the day, him and Klopp seems to be able to work very well at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Now
Mhm.
I've just got this. I've really got this burning feeling the day that we're gonna do well this season. Seriously, I
Mhm.
just got this feeling that we're gonna do well, especially with this addition and day of Ryan Gravenberch. People don't realize how much of a good player Ryan Gravenberch is. We've got three Dutch players in our team. That's first time in Liverpool history that we've got three Dutch players in our team. Do you know what I mean? And these Dutch players in the day, right? The way they play football, it's just listen. It's the finesse of it, man. Seriously, it's just like it is a joy to watch. If you go back, you can go back at the day to sort of like AC Milan in the 80s when they had Van Basten, Rijkaard, and Hullet. Do you know what I mean? In
Mhm.
that AC Milan team, look what they were winning. Do you know what I mean? It's just listen. At the day, I do feel at the day that Pep Linders sort of does have some influence in the team, and his influence at the day that he's having the team is paying off. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Where did he get to in the comments?
Uh, to that very question, or no, wait, excuse me, to a little bit further down. Um, let's see. I got to past the shimmy shimmy. Yeah, right around right. Yeah, after the shimmy shimmy ya was the last one I got to. But I just wanted to add to what you're saying is spot on. But I also, what's funny too. I know he's not necessarily going to get credit for the sense that we won, or when we did the double, that he's not going to get credit for it. But you got to realize also he was the coach that got us through a lot of those matches, a lot of those cup games, like the League Cup. Even the FA Cup. Some of the early competitions of being able to lead players that don't get to see quality minutes or everyday first team minutes, and being able to orchestrate the youth players that we have on our team into the team and be able to hold it down with those people. Look, those are important parts and points, at least in my opinion, that he needs to get credit for, because if he's not able to coach, or if he's not able to establish some type of unity and some type of belief in those players, and being able to hold it down, we're not getting or going to the places that we went to during those years. So,
and something, he's also brought in another a coach at the day from Porto. Is it Vita Manone? I'm sure it's Vita Manone he's brought in. One of them guys there. He's brought another coach from Portugal, to be part of the team. Do you know what I mean? So we just really got to give them credit, give them credit where credit's due. Do you know what I mean? If anybody in the club in the day does anything bad, you criticize them. But however, at the end of the day, there has to be a balance at the day that when they do something good or things good, you have to praise them. Savage Talks Wrestling, big up Savage, big up to you each and every time. Please go over and subscribe to his channel, Savage Talks Wrestling. Good friend of mine and a good friend of the channel. Big up to you, my friend. Big up the chat. Big up the chat. Hope you're all good. Great show. P.S. Man City notoriously starting it slow is a bit of a myth. I'm not joking. People run with pundits' narratives. They just get better with the season. Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. Yeah.
No, I've been. That's something that me and Nature Boy say quite a bit. We speak on it quite a bit, and that is, it's the reason why I do reach out to call out on him to sometimes speak truth, or bring truth into the forums that we populate. And that's the God honest truth is, there's a lot of punditry out there that is spoken, and then as often the case, we end up being puppets, or some people end up being like parrots or punditry, in that we end up just repeating things without really giving it context or real introspection. And Savage is one of those true brothers out there that does really give you what he's feeling, despite it not being the popular belief.
Yeah. Put this way. Savage speaks his mind. He speaks his mind. Yeah, you have to give to him. He does speak his mind. I respect him for that. It may be It may be an unpopular opinion, but however, he speaks his mind. You know what I mean? And you just got to give give him his respect for that. I mean, I do.
That's why I respect it. It's courage. It's very courageous.
Listen.
You got to show on the Rosa Parks comments, but
he's such an idiot. He's an idiot.
But it's all love other than that.
I got a lot of love for Phil. I seriously need to get him on my show soon. On this panel debate one time. Seriously, so I'm gonna try and I'm gonna try and link with him this week and see if we can get him on the show. Marion, Marion. Solar P1 in the building. Big up to you, my friend. Big up to you. Please. He's a hard worker. Please go over and like and subscribe to Solar P1's channel. He's a very, very hard worker, and he puts out some awesome content. His content is awesome. Do you know what I mean? His presentation, everything about his content he puts out is awesome. Please go over and hit a like and subscribe to his channel. Show some support. And also as well, when you do that, go over to Toto Hammer's channel as well, because it's linked together.
Yes.
Go to his channel and hit a like and subscribe to my young G, Toto Hammer. Please do, man. It's getting past the 300 subs mark. Come on, guys. We can do it. Do you know what I mean? It's all about love and support. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Savage says, how you doing? He's hailing up something still. Beijing Bajan Pops, big up, that's come from Maro. So listen, we brought in at the end of the day sort of like Raven Gravenberch and Gravenberch into our team. Talk to me about Ryan Gravenberch because I know at the end of the day he's a player that you admire. Pause. But talk to me about Ryan Gravenberch. Take it away, 12 man. Take it away.
I'm very look. He's one of the golden boys or wonder kids, or however you want to reference it, from the Dutch pool of players that have been out there. A lot of people have placed them in the realm of like having the abilities or having the talent level of a Bellingham or even ourselves. Even the way that we were rating him was, Tuchemani and Bellingham were the players that were being compared as into he was in that group of three when we were looking at bringing one of those players, if not multiple of those players, into this club. So to see us be able to get the opportunity to get this player in the door is fantastic. To understand the fact of, I just saw recently a clip where, Robbo makes a funny little gesture of saying, "Oh no, finally a good Dutch player in the building," but realistically, it was very uplifting, and I was so gassed when I saw him be embraced by Hackbo, by him getting to see obviously VVD, to greet him, be like two of the first to actually greet him as he walks through the door, and you could tell that they have love for each other in the sense of that they're brethren, that they play on the national team and everything else. But it's something of what I was speaking about earlier, which is you want to have players that really enjoy the time together. It affects your mode. I get along with Rodz. We don't always agree on everything, obviously, but we get along in the sense of respect each other, and we appreciate the back and forth that we can bring to the chat. And knowing that, it makes it that more comfortable, or that more acceptable, or that more you're that more engaged in trying to create a different, like your mindset is in a good place when you're engaging in your craft. And that's what you need. If you have a place where you don't like to go to work, for instance, you're probably not going to get the best production out of you because you can't focus on what you need to focus on. But once you have the support, the love, the appreciation around you, it's a different story. And that's one thing that I love about this club. It's one thing that I'm trying to revitalize amongst this fan base, which is, you spread the love, you spread the support, you continue to back each other, you continue to feel those vibes. All of a sudden, different things happen. You're more engaged. You're more excited to go to your supporter pub, or you're more excited to go to the stadium. You're more excited to go to your friend's house, your friend's gathering to watch the game. You're more enthused to enjoy in these platforms that have all of us engaging in it. And it's positive energy that vibrates, and that positive energy seems to be so infectious that you then start to see it on the pitch somehow. And I don't know how it works. I haven't figured it out yet. But other than the fact that I know when it is existent, it tends to be continuous. It tends to be infectious. And that's something that I appreciate and enjoy being a part of. And that's why I'm rising up this mighty Reds army. And to say that we're happy to see Ryan come through the door. He might not have been everyone's first choice, but now that he's a Red, he's our choice. And that's how I see it.
To be fair, you know what I mean? I've always wanted Ryan Gravenberch, to be fair. I've always talked about him because I think Ryan Gravenberch is like a special player. And what I like about Ryan Gravenberch is his age. You know what I mean? He's at that age at the day where he can only get better. And if he's as good as he is now, and then you think about him getting better, well, then you got a phenomenal player on your hands. Do you know what I mean? I was especially sort of like humbled at the way to see him come in and, as I said, to get greeted by sort of like Cody Gapper and being able to speak in Dutch, you know what I mean? And, then Big Verge comes in and greets him and stuff, and then he has a little banter in the day with Robbo and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, that day, he seems a very humble guy. He does seem a really, really humble guy. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what it is about some of them players, especially some of the black guys, people of color. So the black guys and they from Holland. You know what I mean? I'm not saying anybody else says them, but it seems to be the ones that we've encountered. I can only talk about the ones that we've encountered for our team. Yeah, they seem to be very humble
Mhm.
people. Do you know what I mean? Genie Wadanum was a
That's
very humble person. Do you know what I mean? He was very humble and calm and just went about his daily work and stuff. Gappo looks the same. Do you know what I mean? Because he's a person that they want. When you ask him what music
yeah,
he
very
likes, he
spiritual
likes
person.
gospel. Yeah, he's very spiritual. He likes gospel. He only listens to gospel music. That's what he listens to. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Then you got people like Virgil van Dijk in the day, right? You know what I mean? You know what they say about Virgil van Dijk? Calm as you like, innit? Calm as you like. Very kind of
Right.
humble and cool. And now you got Ryan Gravenberch coming that seems to be taking the same mold. He's kind of like, very humble, down to earth, very calm. Looks like at the end of the day he's just gonna go about his business every day and do what's needed for the club and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And he looks so happy. You know what it is? He looks so happy at the end of the day at being at Liverpool because he's thinking that you know what? Now I can come and play football now. I'm gonna get to play
Yeah.
football now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other than like, no disrespect to Bayern Munich in there, but you know what? Isn't they did kind of sort of like mug him off because their sports they brought him in at the day as a obviously Nesbeck's thing and blah blah blah, but there was like all they was concentrated about is playing Kimmich and Greska. That's all they
Mhm.
played, Kimmich and Greska in each manager to play them in midfield. They didn't bother with Ryan Gravenberch, you know what I mean? Yeah, and he hasn't had a chance to show people what he can do. He hasn't
Yeah.
had a chance to play football, and now he's thinking about, you know what? Not only am I coming to a club and they where it's got people of my compatriots in there, and he's a captain of the team as well, one of the captain of the team. I'm going to play football. I'm
Right.
going to show people what I'm really like, and I'm going to play football under one of the best managers in the world.
I think
Simple.
that what's crazy too about that is that by him going to Germany, going to play for Bayern Munich, which is a huge, huge club, um, it being reported that there's a lot of politics involved when it comes to Bayern Munich and how a lot of the players get actual playing time and uh, related to your nationality and everything else. Obviously they would prefer to give German players the minutes, considering that they're a German team. But realistically speaking, in my perspective, is that he's now got he's got a bone to pick. He's got something to show. He's got something to fight for. He's got a
Yeah.
renewal on his football life here, you know, and I really think that it's going to be a very very interesting transformation you're going to see on the pitch for him because now he's coming to where before, yes, I understand. I hope he doesn't do what we saw Fab do, which is, and I'm hoping Fab is understanding what he's learning in Germany as well. As in, you can't demand minutes; you have to earn minutes. The same way
Mhm.
that we're seeing, a lot of us are seeing with D9. A lot of us are really really up on trying to see him start. Really want to see him play. But realistically, the same way that Klopp is holding him out and not allowing for him to be that outright starter every day. I can understand the process that he's going through because he's making this man earn it. He's putting a chip on that person's shoulder, saying, "When I get through, I'm gonna go up to this door. I'm gonna kick through it, and I'm never gonna look back." And I'm hoping the same is for Ryan, that he looks at this as a grand opportunity to show the caliber of player he is and to be able to do the different things that we all expect and appreciate for him to do.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, the only difference is that they with Gravenberch at sort of like at Bayern Munich, he was promised, like to play this role, promised a certain amount of minutes and so forth. And I think what it was with Bayern Munich, they reneged on the offer. And I think in the day it was like kind of like on paper it seemed like a good idea, but when they got here, when they actually got to Bayern Munich, they just realized that they rather play Kimmich and Goretzka. Do you know what I mean? Kimmich and Goretzka, much less than sort of like Ryan. They're probably giving the odd game, but like yeah, he's got something to prove, and I think to be honest, on the day he looked very happy yesterday because he's thinking now I'm finally gonna get to play football. This is finally the move I was supposed to make. Because remember, no, if you remember, he was supposed to come to sort of like Liverpool before Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich swooped in and poached him for another sort of thing. But Klopp was in talks with him, so he's finally got his dream move. Gangan Deeps asked a question. Gangan Deep, we got Gangan Deep in there. Gangan Deep's a question for Uncle Rodz. Oh, and 12 man. Do you think Liverpool have done what's required in the transfer window? Fully prepared ourselves for the season. I'll take it first. I think at the end of the day, yes, I would say yes. Do you know what I mean? Because there still is a bigger source to go on there, because I think they're looking at buying Andre in January, and then that set will be complete. But with the team that we've got now, we can go for sort of like, you know what I mean? We can really go for it with the team that we've got now. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think we have prepared ourselves. Have we prepared ourselves really well? That will be debatable. But I think we have prepared ourselves. I mean, with present circumstances, if you understand what I'm saying, So I think we have done well, because look, we brought in sort of like four players at the day, four terrific players. I mean, McAllister, Endo, Sabozalai, and now Rowan Gravenberch. These four midfielders that we brought in, they're not slouches. They're no slouch at all, and they can play a multiple positions in the team. Do you know what I mean? So like, yes, we have prepared ourselves. If you say, have we prepared ourselves really well? Well, that can be debatable. Do you know what I mean? What's your thoughts?
Look, I actually do like. I got asked on another stream what I rated the transfer window at. I gave it an 8.5.
Yes. That was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, on Quasi Bowl TV. Big up to Quaz. And it was primarily because if you look at the transfers that we went through, and meaning the players that left the team, the players that were added to the team, it's quality. It's simply just that. It's really, really quality players, and they're players that are young, players that are either in like reaching their prime, if not about to be able to be taught to enter into their prime. And it's funny because like you look at for instance, look at today. You look at and I'm not trying to take unnecessary pot shots at Chelsea, but Chelsea spent 100 and some odd million, 115 million on Caicedo, who hasn't really played well at all. And then you look at it too, they also spent 60 some million on Lavia. Lavia's not even on the bench. He didn't even make the bench today. Think about that.
You see?
He's not even on the bench. So that's one of those things where you're just like, you have to bring in players that really have a realistic shot at playing, a realistic shot at being included on your lineup. Being on a 25-man squad and knowing that there's only 20 people that get into the match day lineup, you don't want to be that extra 5 that sits in the stands per se. You really don't, unless you're in that place or that realm of your career where you're still building, you're still going from getting into that level where you'll be able to really contribute. But realistically, man, it's night and day difference when you look at a team that quote unquote won the transfer, the transfer window with all their big name signings, and yet have no real continuity, have really nothing of an assembly of direction with what their club and team symbolizes. I like to think of our club has done that this year, and I'm willing to debate anyone on that fact.
We can't tell you. The thing is about it, nobody can tell you nothing on that situation because if you look at Chelsea's team, it's very disjointed. It's very disjointed. They don't know who to play. They don't know where to play them. They got so many players that they seem to be buying sort of like it seems to be blind players and then they sort of like willy-nilly. And the thing is about it, both the FA and the Premiership, and they I just let them do it. Yeah. I just let them do it. And the thing is about it, think that right, is this. With all the money that they spent, yeah, they need to win something this season. They literally need to win something this season. Do you know what I mean? If they don't win anything, it's just a massive failure. Even if they somehow at the end of the day, which I don't think they do, don't think they will, yeah. Even if somehow at the end of the day they sort of like qualify for the Champions League, you know what I mean? Yeah, and they qualify Champions League, don't win nothing, but that's still a massive failure. It is a massive failure. Do you know what I mean? You need to buy. Always say at the end of the day, get what you need, not what you want. Do you know what I mean? And that's what Chelsea's done. They've got what they want. Any player they want, they've just gone out and got it. But when you look at it, when you deep it now, and you look at it, and you speak to them and say, do you really need that player? Do you really need that Carl Palmer, whatever his name is? Did you really need him? Did you really need at the end of the day? Did you need it in the day sort of like Lavia? Did you need Caicedo? I think at the end of the day, the reason why Caicedo is having a stink at the moment because they can't fit him in the team. He doesn't fit in the team. He literally doesn't. He should have listened to his mate McAllister. He should have listened to him. McAllister told him to come to Liverpool. Told him to come to Liverpool, but you didn't want to listen. You want to go where the money is, right? And then you go where the money is, and you're making a tit of yourself. You're literally making a tit of yourself. You know what I mean? But that doesn't matter today because what you're getting 250 grand a week, more than what you would have got for Liverpool.
That's something that I understand. There's a lot of people that they'll say, like, for instance, big up to Kopish, big up to Cal, of course, and Drifty and Matt. But I know that Cal was saying, and I can understand that you want to say, if there's money out there, get it. Okay, I get that concept. If there's money out there, get it. That's something that Cal says. That's the only reason I'm bringing up the reference of them. But I can contend the simple fact that if you look at these at what the state of football is today when it comes to money, there are some players that don't really warrant making what they are making, but yet are making it simply because the market dictates that they can make it. And just because you can make it doesn't mean that you should make it. I was looking at I was looking at how that Jadon Sancho, for instance, became available or was supposedly being offered onto the market from Manchester United. And I was like, oh, you know what? That'd be kind of cool to go possibly try to do what we're doing with Ryan or doing what we've done with a couple of these players, which is give these players a real shot on a real structured team, okay? And it could be a difference. But I then looked at what he's making. He's making $350,000 a week. And I'm just like, that's absolutely outrageous. Like the sheer fact that you look at a lot of these players and what they're actually making, and then you look at it comparatively, like I'm just like, that's silly money. But it's because they're able to get it. They don't necessarily, doesn't mean that they're that level of a player, but they're able to get it. And, more power to them that they're able to get it. If you're able to get it. But it is putting a real, hard handicap towards trying to have stability in maintaining a wage structure for the league and for in general when it comes to a lot of these players making the cash that they are making.
But the thing is about the thing, now you can look at Jadon Sancho, right? He's gone, and then they to sort of like club, and then they like Man United, and because he's getting like 350 bags, 350 bags a week, yeah. He could have come to a team and they which you get probably less than that, less than half than that, yeah. So like 120 million grand a week, yeah, or even 100 grand a week. You're gonna come to a club like Liverpool and got that money, right, and be twice the player and what he is now. Do you understand what I'm saying? That this is the difference. This is the difference that people would always chase the money and everything. That, and sometimes in the day, right? You know what I mean? It's like it's not all that's good with money. Sometimes at the day you have to start thinking at the day what is good for your career, not just the money and everything. That, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But some of these people and they, what you got to think of it. Some of these people and they have got unscrupulous agents. Yeah. The agents are unscrupulous, where sort of like the club at the day would offer the agent a bit of money on top, and then they right. So then what happens at the 12 is it becomes in the agent's best interest to get that player and then they to that club because he knows that in the day he's going to get something in his back pocket. Pause. Do you know what I mean? You feel me? So like. It just what I see it, and it just ruins their career, chasing that money. Do you know what I mean? Because what's going to happen in the day, sort of like, if it doesn't work out for Caicedo at the day at Chelsea, what's going to happen? He's just going to become forgotten, something that's forgotten like a nobody. His best hope would be at the day that Liverpool come back in for him and try and work out something. Do you know what I mean? Or he gets to go to Saudi Arabia. But who's going to want to go to Saudi Arabia at that young age? Why would you want to go to Saudi Arabia? Why would you want to go? So I just think sometimes at the day, sort of like these kind of like players at the day need to really, really screen at the day they're sort of like the agents and really sort of ask themselves, is this agent and they acting in the best of my interest, or is he acting in his own interest because he's getting some money in his back pocket? Because you look at if you look
agent. Okay, good. Sorry.
So even if you look at the Caicedo deal and the Caicedo deal, right? Do you know what I mean? He's like bunny hop from one team to one team to one team. Like in the fact that they said he's always supported this team. He's always wanted to play for that team. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then you end up with Chelsea and everything that, and you got like some Photoshop picture at the day of you with a Chelsea top and everything that, hugging your mum, which everybody knows is Photoshop because at that age at the day, you were supporting Real Madrid. You didn't know nothing about Chelsea. You were supporting Real Madrid. Do you understand what I'm getting at? You know what I mean? Yeah. But so then at the day, so like they get that kind of move at the day to go to the club that they support, and they bum out. Do you know what I mean? They bum out. Carl Palmer today, that guy they bought from Man City, he looked atrocious today. He looked atrocious. That guy, Nicholas Jackson, and everything that they bought from Villarreal, which was supposed to be the next best striker in Europe. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, right. He looked today, and everything that he looked like it's too much for him. Really looked like it's too much for him. It's like he missed an open goal. And you know what is in there? I would laugh on people like that because number one, at the end of the day, right, you thought at the day you're gonna go to a club at the end of the day where the grass is greener and earn all this money. And number two, and for that, I know for a fact at the end of the day, if that was Darwin Núñez had done that, everybody in the league will be laughing at him, saying, "Oh, Liverpool bought another crap pair again and this and that." You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get it. And Chris Angel is saying the Casado hate is strong here.
Because they do that.
Chris is doing some Jedi mind tricks, I think. But
I know.
but seriously,
It's just
but no,
Angel.
I can agree that it's sounding like we are piling on Caicedo, considering that we sound like we're hurt and still, or at least still hurt from him turning us down in essence. But the reality of it is that those are the expectations. Those are the levels and expectations that he set for himself by doing what he did. Like as in, how often have we heard people really criticizing Darwin Núñez on his first year and what he was producing and what he was doing, and actually bringing what it was that he got transferred for, bringing out all these different parts and points on criticisms of Darwin Núñez. Yet I believe Darwin Núñez had a solid year last year. Obviously it could have been better, but I think that it was a notable point that it wasn't worse than some of the bigger names and bigger transfers that we saw out there. I'm really optimistic to see what we get out of a lot of these players now that they're a part of this club, and you can see the inner fabric of this club is so unique and so important. It's been definitely pushed to the limits of breaking last year, considering all of the adversities they had to go through and the shortcomings that they ended up dealing with by not making Champions League, by falling out of competitions earlier than expected. But the end of the day, as you like to say, they're still together. They're still committed to this coach. They're still committed to silverware. You hear the comments, and people are out there. I know that those people, these people get clipped up, but they're still out there saying, "Hey, we have the absolute intention to best city this year. We have the absolute intention to get silverware this year. We have the absolute intention to win Europa. We have the absolute intention to go and win everything that we're involved in." And that's something you have to appreciate.
Yeah, you have to. Ravi says, question: where in the pitch game does Diaz get the most, but out of the of being in? Is that it?
What's that? Is that a question for me?
Oh, yeah. Especially goes, where in the pitch game does Diaz get the most out of being in?
Yeah, it has to be. Obviously, we've only seen a lot of us. The majority of what we've seen Diaz is from the left wing. He's not necessarily an inside forward, as a lot of people remember Mane being, which is often why a lot of people tend to compare his production to what the production level was from Mane. I think that's not a really credible comparison, because they're two different types of players, and their skill sets and talents are both exceptional in their own right. So I think we get the most out of him when he plays left wing. Obviously, I have seen him play right wing, and I think that he's so versatile. He's such a creative player that it doesn't really matter where you put it on there. Where you put him on the pitch, he's going to be able to create. I mean, it's one of the reasons. There's a big reason as to why he's one of Colombia's finest, in my opinion, and I think that he's got exceptional talent, and I'm proud to call him a Red.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a talent, and Yeah, I think the left wing will be sort of like where he can do the most damage. However, I would like to try him out as a 10. I would like to try him out as a 10, see what he does then. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know?
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm more interested. I've been preaching this since last year. Even when we had Bobby, I wanted to see Bobby in the 10. I obviously wanted to see us go into a 4-2-3-1, but like I would love to see Bobby as a 10. I'm still on the campaign to see possibly Hackbo as a 10. I think that if we had Hackbo, if we had a front line of 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 Nunez at the 9, Hackbo at the 10. You could put Salah on the right, and you could put Diaz on the left. We'd be cooking, and then be able to mix it up by either putting Hata in one of either the left wing or being a sub slash starter for left wing or for the 9. I'm cool with that too. I think that we have a lot of different methods and
Yeah.
venues to utilize.
Yeah. I think what Klopp does, and I think that in general, when he buys players at the day, he buys players at the day that can, literally interchange and play a multiple positions in the pitch. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think that's why
Mhm.
he's bought Gravenberch, because Gravenberch can play a 6. You can do the 8. Do you know what I mean? He can do a 10 if need be. Do you know what I mean? So buying
Mhm.
buying
Mhm.
players like that. You know what I mean? It's always going to be good for your team because, like, whenever you're short somewhere, or even if you have to change your tactics somewhat, because even when you look at the Newcastle game and then day, right, it was a lot of like changing tactics at the time. Do you know what I mean? You just have to change it like that. You had to change it like that because you lost a player. Do you know what I mean? So
Right.
what he done, and I think that he just said, look, you know what? Let's solidify and then the back four. The important thing is and that we don't concede any more goals. Do you understand me? So let's take off an attacker, put on a defender, and shore it up. Do you know what I mean? And then what we do, if we stay, once we can stay in that game for that period of time, we can then sort of like start to bring on an attackers and look to sort of like take all 3 points, which they done. Do you know what I mean? So, but it all comes down to
Mhm.
having players that can adjust to different positions on the pitch. Do you know what I mean and stuff. So that's what I
Yeah.
think Klopp does, and that's what
Right on.
that's what I see. You know what I mean? Even not to Diaz as being, and he's a player that can probably adjust to playing on the right, just to playing as a 10, and obviously his favorite position in day is like coming off the left with his trickery and stuff. But yeah, on the left is going to be one of the most
Yeah.
favorite
Well, that's the most
plays we
important.
can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Question for Ravi. Question for both. How do we maintain that we stay as injury free as possible? Um, I would say that they so like the training doesn't have to be so rigorous. Do you know what I mean? I do think sometimes with the training, with some of the players that it's too physically demanding on a player. Also, as well, rotation is key. Rotation has to be key. Do you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so some players that they are not playing too many games. You know what I mean? A lot of people
Mhm.
say that oh yeah, they're getting paid so much money a week and everything that they should be able to play whenever. You know what I mean? It's not like that because at the end of the day, they are human beings. You know what I mean? So I would say sort of like I would literally say sort of like training and not having a player playing so much sort of like games and such. You know what I mean? Rotation is key. Just before you answer the question, there's 14 of you in the chat at the moment. Please smash the like button. I need to be up to 20 likes, at least minimum 20 likes when I do my streams. And minimum 20 likes. So please slap the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, okay? You got the president of the United States here. Come on now. Seriously, you know what I mean? Yeah, so over to you, 12 man.
Uh, I believe that the biggest thing one of the biggest things for me on staying injury free is not thinking about getting injured. Okay, so I mean, it sounds simple. It sounds, maybe even elementary, but what my point is that you can't go into. For instance, I know for myself. For instance, I got a few years back. I got an injury to my knee. Right, I'd never been injured in my life, and a few years back I got injured. I was playing basketball. I ended up breaking my kneecap of all things. Okay, didn't tear any ligaments or anything like that, which is kind of crazy. It broke the kneecap, didn't tear my ACL, none of that. But they had to, put it all back together, like the what is it, the
Steve Austin, right,
yeah,
man.
yeah, exactly.
Hey, that was
So
on that was on TV today, That was on TV today. It's on TV today. Yeah, one of those channels. And you know what it was, yeah? Listen, that was when I was growing up as a kid, yeah, that was my favorite program. Oh my god. Every Thursday in England used to come when I was a kid. In England used to come on every Thursday night. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Every Thursday night. Seriously, as a kid, I used to look forward to watching the Bionic Man. Oh mate, it was good. It was good, so good.
Right. So hopefully Chris can give me the name of the works. I know I'm going to butcher it, but I think it's called like kinesiophobia or something like that. Kinesiophobia. It's like basically the thought of re-injuring yourself. Like as in when you have an injury, the hardest thing to do is to get over in believing that your limb, whatever ligament or whatever it is going to be able to withstand the rigors of what you're putting it through. You're going to be able to, get over that mental hurdle. And that's the hardest thing to do. It was something for myself that I dealt with too. Every time I ever thought about, trying to go and dunk the ball again, I'm like, I'm thinking, am I going to land wrong? Is my leg going to give out? Or, those things are hard obstacles, to get over. And that's one of the hardest things. So I'm thinking like, just don't think about, oh, am I going to get injured by going into this tackle? Or am I going to get injured by like trying to beat this person by to getting to the ball? I think it's more so you just have to have the mindset of believing in yourself, trusting in the medical team, the rehab team, everyone that's helped you get to the stage and continue to push it and move forward. And look, the other things about it, diet, very important. Something that I'm going to start pushing on my own channel. Some of the dietary supplements that I take. These things are very important to maintain your ability to regenerate the things that you need in your body to keep on pushing forward, keep your body strong and everything else. So nutrition, obviously, diet. The things also just the mindset of like the mental hurdles. He's calling it traumatophobia is what Chris is telling me the name is. And
you can read better than me.
That's a mouthful. I know. Pause. But realistically, there is a bunch of different things that you have to get into, like the rehab, the mental and physical conditioning. They all need to be like on point and consistent. And I've been very critical of our medical team and especially our rehab team and also our fitness and nutrition team as well. All different parts of the medical board, but all important parts that need to be on point to get and maintain this engine going forward.
Yeah, facts, man. Facts could have been better. So if Mark A says, what's he say? He goes, Chris Angel, don't think Carcedo is in Rod's good books.
That's because of the comment.
No, he's all right, man. He's all right with me. It's not his fault he made the wrong choice. Not his fault, you know what I mean? But it's where it goes. But yeah, it's I would obviously like to talk to you sort of like off screen today about this dietary thing that you're dealing with still, you know what I mean? Because I need to lose a couple of pounds myself, to be honest.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
It's
but
necessary. Look, I mean, it's helped me maintain, not only my fitness but my energy, and being able to, venture out and still, as I get older, still continue to put in the commitment and the amount of attention towards maintaining my health and fitness.
Was it? It says,
What is
Mitch was
poison?
11 away from 900 subs. Run out to subscribe, people. It's free. Don't be a bum. So fuck. He makes you laugh. The parts didn't sit for you to be lazy. Facts. Go on,
Yeah.
go on, nature boy.
Much
We got
love.
nature boy, man. I don't hate Caicedo, but neither do I like him. He's a money merchant. End of he is, and that's the to me, that's what I find that it's a detriment to some of these players at the end of the day. I mean, obviously the risk of going back on what we talked about. This is what I think at the end of the day they really have to at the end of the day, ask themselves: is this guy acting in the best interest for me, or is going to this club at the end of the day in the best interest of me? I know I'm going to get money and that, but is it in the best interest that I go there for my career? Do you know what I mean? And there's not enough questions that are asked in that way, and they end up going to places that like your Man United and getting 350 grand a week, but being a flop. You might as well say Jadon Sancho's a flop now. Really, nobody talks about Jadon Sancho now. He hardly plays in the squad. He'd be lucky certain times if he gets a substitute appearance. You understand what I'm getting at? Do you know what I mean? So you have to be a situation where you ask yourself, is going here or going there at the end of the day, the best sort of best thing for me, because some of these clubs at the end of the day are gonna get you at the end of the day, right, to the club, right, for bragging rights. You know what I mean? For the bragging rights of it, to say at the end of the day, we look at the end of the day, we got this guy, and you never. Same what Chelsea done. Chelsea was bantering us and for that and bragging on us, like because they got Caicedo and they got Lavia. Number one, Caicedo hasn't looked good when he come on. Do you know what I mean? And the things that hurts me is that Caicedo actually is a good player. Caicedo is actually a great player.
Yeah, no,
but you will never see that.
I'm not saying Caicedo is not a player. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that, hey, he was my number 2 pick on the list of players I want to see us get through the door. But hey, he made his choice, and this is the bet he's got to lie in. So he's got to realize that the bar that he's set by going and doing and campaigning for this move is now the bet he's got to lie in, and it's one of those things where it's like, I don't understand why you would choose that. I mean, I think that's someone that is a poor representation of the player, but it is what it is when it comes to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see, I know, and the thing is about when you look at Caicedo, I mean, Caicedo should have questioned a lot of stuff. That's what I'm saying. He should have questioned a lot of stuff, because I think at the day it was his agent was doing most obviously the talking of that, and he should have questioned him. He should have questioned a lot. I said, look, why is it that you're so hell bent and day with me going to Chelsea when that Liverpool and day is putting an offer? They beat the deadline, and Chelsea never. Why is it in the day that now I've got to wait? Just wait. Why have I got to wait? I should be on it like on a plane and day going to Liverpool, flying to Liverpool now. I shouldn't be still waiting. Do you know what I mean? And then all these statements get put out. That's what I'm trying to say. You need to question certain things. You know what I mean? Why is it that it's gone this way?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But you never done that. You've gone along with the narrative in the day, right? Now you're at a club in the day, right? That could potentially end the day ruin your career, and you're only 20 years old. That could potentially ruin your career. Even with Lavia as well. We look at Lavia, Look over. All right, then they right. Liverpool kind of messed around and they in sort of like in getting him in, recruiting him in, right? But if you really in the
Mhm.
day wanted to come to Liverpool that bad, when like Liverpool rocked up and said, right, we'll give you 60 million, yeah, why didn't he come then?
Mhm.
Why didn't you? Why did you? Why was you so hell bent on going to Chelsea? Now you got Chelsea in there. You can't even get a game. You can't even get a game. He wasn't even on the frigging bench today.
Yeah.
Joke, joke. It is a joke. It is a
I
joke, man. But
yeah, it's the reason why I can't stress, like, you have to sometimes, it to their defense, a player like Casado, I don't know who Lavia's agent is, but a player like Casado, at least, these players have agents that befriend them early in their lives. They will be they'll advance them money. They'll advance them, like, advance when they're in the early stages of their careers. They'll advance them money to their parents, their family, themselves at times. Just to show their commitment. And you'll get to a place and point where you trust this person because they have invested in you. And but sometimes, even though you might see that as being investment in you, their eyes might get big, considering what they see as being a windfall in not your best interest, but a money windfall in their own best interest. And that's a major, major conflict that you have to come through and address at one point or some point. Otherwise, you end up like the situations that we're seeing before us.
it's true. It is true. It's true. It's just I don't know. It's just like it seems a lot of unscrupulous things, and I kind of like in one way, I think you kind of feel sorry for him, but another way you don't because you think, oh, well, he should have had enough brains at the day to say, well, look, this is not sort of like a good move. You know what I mean? I hope he does work out for him in the end. You know what I mean? And I hope he does sort of like get what he wants because he's too young at the day for his career to be ruined. You know what I mean? And I can see
Mhm.
that happening. I can see that happening. And if he keeps on going on, if things keep on going the way he's going, yeah, right,
Mhm.
I can see at the end of the day sort of like his career getting moved because what a lot of people got to realize that maybe that's not the right team for him. Maybe Chelsea's just not the right team for him. Do you know what I mean? It's not the right fit for him. Maybe coming to Liverpool would have been the right fit for him. But you can't come to Liverpool now because Liverpool is no way Liverpool's going to pay sort of like Chelsea and they 111 million or something, whatever. They ain't going to pay over 100 million for Carcedia. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
The only team at the day that will probably spend that money would be Man City. But Man City don't even need him. Do you know what I mean? Man City
Mhm.
do not need him. So then he's stuck. Where did he go? You know what I mean? Where does he go? But well, it's just sort of like you know, what can you do? What can you say? What can you say? Do you know what I mean? As long as like Chelsea in the day are going to be able to sort of like get away with these shenanigans of what they're doing and stuff, right? It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem because what's going to happen? And all that's going to happen on 12 man, they're going to corner the market. They're going to be what like Real Madrid was like 10 years ago, 10 or 12 years ago. They're going to be like that. Where literally there was cornering the market. You couldn't get a player at the end of the day without sort of like without their say so. And then Chelsea came into it and everything like, just buying any and anybody. Do you know what I mean? It's just going to get back to that stage again
Mhm.
and everything like that. You know what I mean? All the best players at the day, right, are literally not going to get the best move. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You know,
That's
what's
it.
this? Hazmat, big up Hazmat. Player coming through now needs to look at history when making decisions. Coutinho, Hazard, Bale all moved to Spain, then regretted it. Yep, facts. Same as Chelsea and United. No player have shined there for years. Don't you think that's true? That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
12 man.
Yeah. Spot on. Oh
What
no,
are you doing?
I might be chopping up here.
Yeah. No, but like that's what I'm saying. It's just like they need to. There's a multitude of things that they need to look at. Do you know what I mean? You know, before they make that move.
Hmm.
That's me anyway. Do you know what I mean? That's what I feel anyway. Do you know what I mean? You know, Hazmat
Hmm.
says, has saying, yeah, Hazmat smiling face. Do you know what I mean? You know. So what do you reckon on tomorrow then? What's your thoughts on tomorrow's game?
Tomorrow, I'm not going to lie and say that I'm not concerned or being respectful of Emery. Emery's a good coach, really talented coach. I think he's someone that once he gets once he's able to get into a club where he's able to communicate his direction and mission, uh, you tend to find a well directed team. So I'm hoping that the shot in the arm of the Newcastle match is going to continue to echo into Anfield. Look, Klopp said it himself. We're going to need the backing and the sheer energy of Anfield to really propel us against a very good team in Villa. And yeah, I'm optimistic that we can get the win. I'm obviously not like calling out 5-0s or 8-0s or anything like that I've said something before, but yeah, I'm hoping we get this win, obviously, and I also believe that depending on when we end up seeing our number 9 and when we end up seeing the other players contribute, I think it's going to be a really good match. So I'm looking for some good highlights tomorrow.
Yeah, because what Sola says, Villa is a good team, and
Yeah,
it's true
absolutely.
that Villa are a good team. Do you know what I mean? When they sort of like, get themselves going. Do you know what I mean? And start playing, they can be a very hard team to beat. I mean, people like Ollie Watkins, and I rate that guy. Ollie Watkins is to me, and it's a fantastic player. But they also got people like Douglas Wees, um, was it Pau Torres, Diaby? Do you know what I mean? Which is scoring goals. Do you know what I mean? So they have got some. They has got some good, very capable. John McGinn, he's looking good as well. Do you know what I mean? So they have got some powerful, capable players at the day of doing a job. So what Liverpool need to be doing at the day is like uh, not having a sloppy start. They need a good start to the game. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that they should go out and score first and this and that, but just sort of like not a sloppy start where you bloody giving away the ball and so forth. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I feel that that sort of like that's a sort of like those are things that then they that sort of like hinder us. You understand what I'm saying? So
Mhm. No,
they need to really
talented team. They're a talented team.
yeah.
Look, if in all relation, I guess you could say, is that Newcastle is a talented team with a coach that is a good coach, not a great coach. But yet, I think the difference is I think Villa isn't possibly as talented as Newcastle is on paper. Okay. But they also have a coach on paper that is more talented than Newcastle. So it's one of those like, you know, you take away, you give, you take a little bit here and there for the evaluation of our next opponent. And I see it as it's very similar, but I'm hoping that Anfield is the denominator, or that variable that makes it go in our favor.
Yeah. Chris Angel says you two are killing it. Nothing but love to you two special
Mhm.
people. Tough man. Your positivity is spreading, and Uncle, your was it charisma
And
and
passion.
passion is in. Yeah, big up
That's
Chris Angel,
really,
man.
it's a really genuine and well appreciated comment. That's the kind of those are the kind of positive moments that you need to. It makes you, it lifts you up. You know,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
often say
yeah.
so many people try to drag each other down. You know, maybe even to drag them down to their level. And but
Mm.
it's one of those things that we're all Reds, and I appreciate the support. Appreciate if you're part of the Mighty Red Army that I speak of, and the Mighty Red Nation, however you want to reference it, and that we continue to uplift each other. That's the biggest thing that we need to do is just keep uplifting each other.
Yeah, no, listen, at the day, right? Chris Angel's a real one. I've done shows with him, and he's been on my show, other shows that I've done and stuff. He's a real good guy. First time I kind of knew of Chris Angels when on Coppish, I knew him from Coppish, and he was coming on Coppish and just giving bare jokes. He just bare jokes and everything like that. And I said, you know what? I'd love to get him on my channel, and I did have the pleasure in the day to get him on my channel. He's a great guy, and comments like this of what he says and everything that he's just synonymous to who he is. Do you know what I mean? Um, it's just synonymous to it. He's a great guy, and big up to you. Big up to you, Chris Angel, and I hope you and your family are blessed, my friend. I hope you're blessed. I'll check the last comment for the night before we get off. I would have was it I still have a way to go. I'm too negative, but watching you guys got me changing. Gracias, amigo.
That's
Till
right.
the end.
Be like
Till the
water.
end.
Be like
Yeah,
water.
man.
Like his son says, be like water. You got to
It's
be like,
true.
you have that Zen moment, the Zen feel. Like you'd be like Leroy in the Last Dragon. If you ever watched that
Yeah,
movie,
man.
dude,
Listen,
the going and the Zen going.
yeah, you gotta have it. Listen, Chris Angel, big up Chris Angel, big up Solar P, big up Ravi, big up Hazmat,
Absolutely.
big up Nature Boy, big up Savage Talks and Wrestling, big up Marion, big up who else is there to do? Trudon, big up Trudon, big up Ian, big up Redbird, big up Ensman TV. Make sure you like and subscribe to Ensman TV, and also do the same for Solar P1 as well. Make sure you like and subscribe on his channel. Sure you like and subscribe on Nature Boys channel and Savage Talks Wrestling channel. Make sure to subscribe on there. Mark A, big up yourself. Don't
Yes.
leave out anybody. Don't leave
Yeah,
it. Don't. Yeah, Hasma, I've done him. Done Mark A. Done Mark A. Psychedelic. Big up psychedelic. Scientist. I always call him psychedelic scientist. No matter if he's changed
yeah.
name. Big
Psychedelic
up to you.
shaman. You're talking about, yeah, come
Yeah.
on. You're talking about Wu Tang earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Charlene. Big up Bajan Pops, big up Rastakab. And again, Rastakab, happy birthday to you. I hope you live to see many and many and many and many more birthdays, my friend. God bless you, my friend. And big up Bajan Barnes and the whole of the Bajan Reds crew. Big up to all you guys, man. Love you guys. Still.
I
Right.
think Russ
So,
Crab is turning. I think he's turning 21. I think or something, right? So
yeah, man. 21 man in turn, man.
yeah,
21
let's
in
go out
turn,
there and
man.
have one for all of us.
Yeah, true though, isn't it? Listen, I'll be back tomorrow with a watch along show for the Liverpool and Aston Villa game. And then at 6 o'clock, I will have the match reaction call in. That's going to be at 6 o'clock. And then obviously we do it all again on Monday onwards. Do you know what I mean? You know, I was on telly
Yeah,
last night,
yeah.
you know that. I was on telly last night because I was doing the security at
The
Luton.
game.
Yeah,
You're on
Luton
camera.
West Ham game.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I was on there, man. I was on WhatsApp today because, yo, I see you on TV last night. I didn't know you did the stewarding. Because when I
That's
try and like,
cool.
make a, yeah, I try and like a look at money, man. Still, you know what I mean? Because listen, I was right. I was on the pitch, yeah, sitting down on the pitch, and like people like Ward Prowse and all them mans would come past me because taking the corner, I was right near the corner flag, and you can literally see Ward Prowse. I was like that much away from Ward Prowse taking the corner. Do you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, and people like Jared Bowen, I see him and stuff. I saw Jamie Carragher last night.
Oh, that's
Jamie
cool.
Carragher. Yeah, I saw Jamie Carragher because he like the hour before the game and stuff. They come in and they walk. They walk around. Him and Gary never walk around and talk about this, talk about that. So Carragher, he's walking up with that, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Wow, it's Carragher blood." And he like took a picture with somebody, but I can't do it. I can't take pictures. You know what I mean? I got be professional, sure. But I gave him a fist bump. I goes, "Yes, Carragher, Wagwan," and I gave him a fist bump still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I see the other one. James Corgan, the big fella that he does something in your country as well. He does a talk show in your country. See him last night. So I saw quite a few stars last night, brother. I was like, yeah, man. And then what it was Gary Neville, and Carragher obviously was walking past, and they was talking in the mic and about what they was talking about and stuff. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, it was all right last night. It wasn't too bad. Pretty that sort of like you know what I mean? They lost. They lost. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that they need more better players. They need more better players still. Don't see them surviving. But yeah, listen, guys, I will catch you guys tomorrow for 2 shows tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining me. We just sit through these last sort of like, obviously these last kind of like message. We're gonna go through them quick. Psychedelic Scientist, big up. Thank you, my friend. Excuse me. Bajan Pops, big up. Big up the football romantics, 12th man and Uncle Rodz. Facts. Top show, big up the panel and chat. Big up Bajan Pops, man. This is what comments like that make me want to do this. Do you know what I mean? Bless people, you never walk alone. Let's go and get rid of facts, man. Hazmat says, Bajan Pops, bless up, bro. You never walk alone. Chris Angel says, Liverpool Turf man, when's your next show, brother? When's your next show, my friend?
Right after this, actually. I'm going to be doing a preview of the Villa game. Basically, just going to show who I think is going to be, the starting lineup. Obviously, who we're going to be facing going forward. Some keys to what we need to see in the game. Looks like Chris Angel's going to help me out by showing up. But anyone else that wants to participate, I'm open to that too. Whether it's Pops, whether it's Jay Kismet, whether it's Brian Morrissey, Marion, you can help out as well. Everyone that shows love is more than welcome to participate and have their voice heard.
Listen, better send me the link, man. Send me the link, King.
Okay.
Yeah, send me the link and I got something to do first, but I'll jump on after that. Definitely, man. Definitely jump on.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I won't be going on now like 30 minutes anyway. So, but like
yeah, just send me the link, big man, and I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? But like, just before you go, 12 man, please tell the people where they can find you, my friend.
Yeah. That would be it would be a zen moment for sure. Be a zen moment for sure.
I know, innit? Because you man's a calm man. Trust.
They can find me at they can find me at Liverpool 12th man. It's just drop the @ and then say Liverpool 12th man, and my little avatar thing will pop up, and you can link to the channel. Please do share the channel to friends and family, whoever. Hey, even like whether it's your grandmother, your grandfather, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your son, your daughter, whoever. Get them all involved. Make it a family affair,
Yeah.
and really show the love and continue to build and build. I'm on the road to 100K. So, one step at a time, of course. But hey, I believe in my Reds. I believe in my Reds family, especially, and the Reds Army that we're building, the Red Nation that we're a part of. Is something that I believe and love. So, I appreciate all the support and hope to see you there.
Wicked. Right. So, listen, guys. As I said, I'll see you tomorrow with two shows. I'm gonna straight after this. I'm gonna get the thumbnails ready and push them out there. So it's two shows tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining me again for another episode of the Panel Debate Show, episode 22. Yeah, thank you for joining me and thank you for your input, guys, in the chat. I mean, to pick up everyone in the chat, and thanks to 12 man, the calming influence around here. He's a calming influence around it. You notice that in days, sort of like when 12 man's on, I don't shout as much. You know what I mean? I don't rant as much. I'm just calm, proper calm. It's influence. You know what I mean? But that's what happens at the end of the day when you got somebody at the end of the day that talks facts. Do you know what I mean? It's just as simple as that. Do you know what I mean? But guys, I will see you tomorrow. All I've got to say to you guys is love and respect. Big up.
Right. Peace and love.